Hey guys, this is something I want to talk about. And that's the overflow of immigration and how it's affecting white people and like across the world, and how it's also affecting Canada. And I'm going to start off with like how immigration is affecting Canada. And to the point where like this doesn't feel like Canada anymore. Like I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like this doesn't feel like Canada. It's like, at least the Canada I grew up in. It's bad when seeing white people is like starting to feel like a rare thing here. And I heard it's more bad in some places, like certain provinces, than others. I mean, I thought it was bad when I was in New Brunswick, but now that I moved, New Brunswick ain't got shit on this place, man. You go outside anywheres and there's just like immigrants everywhere. Like there's more immigrants than there are Canadian people. And it's bad when you start to miss being able to go to a mall or a store or a restaurant, and you miss being the only non-white person there. And that's like, I never thought I would have to say this, but that shit doesn't feel good. Like, it's bad, but like when you go out in public and you see white people, and then you make a mental note in your head, oh look, a white person, wow, finally, about time. So that's how you know it's bad. I don't know what to freaking say. There's a toxicity in our society that tries to say they're not toxic, that tries to say they're the good guys, and it's just not, because these people are just anti-white. And it's just like, anytime someone disagrees, especially a white person tries to disagree with like there being immigrants or there's too much brown people, it's like they're called racist. And it really isn't about racism. Like, there's just way too much immigrants here, and they're all like, you know who I'm talking about. They all seem to be from the same country or the same place, right? And this has nothing to do with race at all. This is like, I don't want to hate these people. I want to like these people, but they make it so hard. And I do like some of them a lot. Some of them are chill. Like some of them, every once in a while, I'll be at a crosswalk, and then they're in the car and they stop and they let me walk past and they smile at me and I smile back. Hey, that's a good guy. But a lot of them are fucking assholes. They just don't. They're rude. Like they don't have any manners. They just fucking stare at you. And like, I'm trying to, like, anytime I try to walk anywhere and there's a whole group of them sitting down and they just stare at you when you walk past them. Like, what are you looking at? Like, and then you're at a fast food restaurant, you're trying to order something, and then they're like, in the middle of taking your order, they just fuck off. Like, they'll be taking your order, and like after you order something, you're not done ordering, and then they just walk away. Like, what? Excuse me. And then they come back to take your order, and then you have to wait like 15 minutes just for them to get your order wrong. What? This seems like I'm complaining over nothing, but I can't explain to you how it really is. Like, you just have to be there, and you would have to experience what you've experienced before. Like, this doesn't feel like Canada anymore. Like, it's not because, and it ain't because of the color of their skin. It's because the culture, it feels like the culture is dead. Like, I haven't heard anyone say in a very long time that I'm proud to be Canadian. I haven't heard anybody say that in a long time. I'm proud to be Canadian. Nobody says that anymore. I remember when people did. I remember when I used to say that. I remember as a kid, being Canadian was like a good thing, being a flex. Canadian pride was like not a very common thing. Like, I miss like being in a classroom with other kids and the kids are talking about Canadian stuff, you know, like their hockey team, Team Canada or whatever, fucking going to somewhere else in Canada, or we're watching a history documentary and then it has to do with some war, and then we're all rooting for, you know, the Canadian side, and then we talk about Canadian like animals and signals like mooses, geese, maple syrup. Nobody says that shit anymore. And it's like, we don't even talk about Canadian history. Like, it's like now Canadian history is like, it's a very good history. There's bad parts, yes, but it's a history to be proud of, and nobody's proud anymore. Like, I feel like everyone, like all the actual Canadian citizens now are just people that happen to live in the country of Canada. They're not Canadian anymore either, because there's no difference anymore. The thing is with the immigrants too, it's just like, they don't want to assimilate into the culture either. They're just here to make their money and then just fuck off whatever. They come here and bring their own country with them. They don't they don't give a shit about us. They don't give a shit about Canadians. They don't give a shit about the culture. They don't want to assimilate. Most of them don't. Some of them do. But it's usually a certain like type of ethnic immigrants that you could just like separate here. That's just like certain ethnic group. They're great. They're great immigration. They're great immigrants because they assimilate into the culture of Canada and they become Canadian. Even though they're originally from somewhere else, they come to Canada because they like Canada and they become Canadian people. And other ones, the majority, are just here just to fucking be here, just for a job. And they don't assimilate. They try to turn our country into their country. And it's just... And this is where it's starting to piss me off, because I feel like this is how Canada dies. This is how our nation falls. It's loaded with people who aren't Canadian, don't want to become Canadian, don't give a shit about Canada as a whole, and they just keep letting these guys in, and eventually there's going to be nothing left. There's just going to be no Canadians left. It's like Canada's just going to lose its backbone, and there's no, like, I've been like experiencing this like recently, even our government just doesn't give a shit anymore. It's impossible to buy a house now for like any average person, and it's like it's hard to find a job, and they're just, the immigrants are everywhere. There's just non-Canadians everywhere. They're serving our food, they're taking our orders, they're shopping at the stores, they're owning the stores, they're not hiring actual Canadians. And it's just, this is how a nation falls. This is how a nation loses itself, and this is how a society collapses. When too many people from another society or a nation immigrates into another one, the nation loses its identity. And like, what even is Canadian what even is Canada? Like, I feel like I barely even see the Canadian flag anymore. Like, I barely see that anywheres. I barely see anyone talk about anything that has to do with Canada politically or entertainment wise. It's just like, we're just, if you're not an immigrant, then you're just and if you're a Canadian citizen, you're just a person who just happens to live in this country. But there's like no pride, there's no motivation behind that. It's just, I don't even know how to say this, man. It's like, like I said before, it just doesn't feel like Canada anymore, and that's a bad thing. That is, because I used to be, you know, I used to like Canada like that. I used to, as a kid, I was a, you know, I was proud to be a Canadian kid, just like all the other kids around me. But that's not, and the people around me, not just the kids, the people too. But now it feels like that's dead. That is just dead, and there's just Indians everywhere taking over the country. And it's not good because they don't assimilate into Canadian culture, and they're just not nice people for the most part. They just stare at you and give you stink eyes, and sometimes they're just flat out rude to you, and they don't give a shit about the country. And it makes me feel bad for the few people that are actually are Canadian citizens and do care about the country, and it's making these people look bad because of them. Like, I know plenty of people who like immigrated to Canada, and they're actual citizens. They have the Canadian flag at their house, or they tell people that they are Canadian, even though they may have came from somewhere else. They still tell people they are Canadian, and they care about the country. And then there's other immigrants that just come here, don't do any of that, and it just makes the actual ones, like the actual Canadian immigrants that became a citizen, it makes them look bad, because now it's just like it's putting the taste of shit in your mouth every time you see an immigrant. It's getting to that point. Now, it wasn't like that before. Depending on where you are, it's like, I heard Alberta's really bad too. But when there's just so many, and there's just you have so much negative experience of them towards you, and then you try to go somewhere, as you walk into the lounge, and the lounge is just filled with them. There's no Canadian, there's no white people anywhere near that place, and the place fucking stinks. All right, like, I don't want to sound like I'm being hateful, but the place fucking stinks. Like, I never thought I would have to say this, but like, it's bad. Okay, it's bad. I walk in there, it stinks. Like, I don't want to be a hateful on this subject. I want to like these people, but it's so hard to. It really is, and it's pissing me off. And something needs to be done about this. Like, if nobody does anything about this, and this just keeps happening, it's pretty soon it's gonna be India number 2, the next India, and Canada is gone. And the white people, the white Canadians, the white Canadian culture, gone. The native people, they're gone too. All right, they're gone too. And then it's just gonna go, and there's gonna be nothing left. That's just how it's gonna be if this just keeps going how it is. And no one's gonna be able to afford a house either, so everyone's gonna be struggling to, not be homeless. And everybody's just gonna die out, and that'll be the end of it. I don't want that. Because I still have pride. Okay, and I miss having that pride to be a Canadian person and a native person. This is about both ways. All right, this really isn't about racism. It's not. This is about people who aren't Canadian taking over Canada, and the Canadian people are just dying out because of that. And it's some people would say it's not that big of a deal. It is. It really is. Like, we will die out. There won't be any of us left, and our country will go to shit. It'll be impossible to live here. And I feel bad. I feel bad for the white people too. Like, people have given white people such a bad rap. Our society has been convinced that white people are just bad. Like, it's just bad to be a white person because a bad history or whatever. And it's happening. This ain't just happening in Canada. This is happening all over the West. In America, it's really bad in Europe. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, in London, the population of British people in London is like 38% or something. British people are a minority in London, the capital of England. Like, that's bad. That's really bad. And like, there's so, like, crime is skyrocketed in that country. Like, there's so much more rape, murder, stabbings, theft. Like, it's all on the rise. And it's just like, this is exactly what they want. There's a certain there's a certain ethnic group in very powerful positions in our governments, banks, and media. And I'm not going to mention them yet, but it's a powerful ethnic group that are in all the positions of power, and they are all behind this. And this is exactly what they want. They want all the nations to just become one. It's like a globalist movement. Because the reason why this is so bad is because when so many people from another nation emigrate to another nation, that nation no longer is special. Because what makes Canada special is the people, the culture. The same reason what makes Italy so special, the Italian people, the Italian culture. If I want to go to Italy, I want to see Italians. Now, if I want to go to Canada, I want to see Canadians. That's what makes the country so special. Now, when the country is just loaded with so many different people from everywhere, and it's like that all over the European countries and Western countries, there's nothing going to be special about them anymore. It's gonna weaken. The society's gonna weaken. The society's gonna have no longer no moral standpoint, because there's gonna be so much different, diverse, like, ethnic, culture, religion, and like just whole out the different ways of life. And it's just, no country is gonna be special anymore. Like, if I want to go to India, I want to see Indians. That's what I expect to see. Indian people in India. Or, you know, like, friggin' Japanese people in Japan. Like, that's what makes it Japan. But then when there's so much other people there, it doesn't feel like it anymore. I don't feel like I'm in Canada anymore. There's nothing Canadian about this place. Other than, like, the official government, like, systems and laws that are already in place. Other than that, it feels like any other country. India. Fuck. Oh my gosh. And this is how nations and societies fall. This is what makes them just wither out and die. It's something needs to be done. Because, like, if it's not, there's going to be no reason to just go anywhere. There's going to be no reason to travel, really. It's just like, yes, like, the geography is the same. Maybe the architecture is the same, or whatever, infrastructure. Blah, blah, blah. I'm babbling too much, but there's going to be nothing special about the people in anywhere anymore. The cultures of all the Canadian culture, the American culture, the British culture, the Italian culture, German culture, whatever country, like, the culture is just gonna die out, because it's gonna be just too diverse that you can't even tell the difference between them. And this is how our civilization just falls, and we just lose our way of life, and then we go into a cycle of just oppression and tyranny, and then we just lose ourselves and we die out. And people want to act like this is a good thing. It's not. It's just because it's not a violent war doesn't mean this ain't a war. This is an invasion. It's not an invasion in a military sense. It's just like an invasion of diversity and immigration. Like, there's nothing wrong with diversity and immigration in a moral sense, But this is what weakens a society. When there's too much of it, this is what kills a nation. And I'm not falling for this bullshit. Like, a lot of people will try to a lot of the media will try to shove this down your throat that this is somehow a good thing, and that if I don't agree with it, that it's racist and I'm a Nazi. I'm not falling for that bullshit. They're trying to kill us. They're trying to get rid of us. And they do this on purpose. They just want to divide everybody. So everybody's weak. You know, when so many people, when in a culture where it's so diverse with so many different beliefs and so much differences, there's no strength, there's no moral backbone. Because, like, let's take a look at a family. Let's say a white Canadian family. Dump it with immigration and dump it with diversity. You got a white Canadian family. Within a couple generations, it turns into a black African family. Like let's say a white Christian family turns into like a brown Muslim family, like a gay transgender family that used to have Christian or Canadian culture values in their family. Like, that bloodline is it's just killed. Like, you can't even tell that, you can't distinguish the grandparents from the grandkids anymore. They're just, the grandparents are white Christian Canadians, and the grandkids are like just black gay atheists. And that's not a personal attack on any like group, but this is how a culture dies out. And they want to tell you that the white Canadian Christian culture is somehow bad because maybe some white people have done bad things in the past, or that Christianity is responsible for bad things in the past. Everyone is like, every race, ethnicity, and culture and religion are responsible for bad things that happen. It's a human thing. It's not like a certain race or a certain culture or religion. It's a human thing. And that's what makes us so special, is like our differences. And like, I would like to see, I'm not a Muslim, okay, I'm not an Arab, I'm not an Indian, but if I see a Muslim Arab family, I would be happy to see them stay that way. If I see like an Arab Muslim family all of a sudden just within a couple generations turn into like a white, like gay ass family, then that's sad to see. Not because they're worse than the other, it's like when you see a culture just get so much shit and then they just die out, it's sad to see. And it looks like an extinction. Like, I don't want to see like a white family, like a white Canadian culture filled family just die out and just within a couple generations turn into something else completely. Like, that is just, it feels disrespectful to the bloodline. Now that the family's ruined, what made them special is just gone. Now they're just something else. And this is why we need nationalism. Like, nationalism needs to, as an ideology, needs to come back, because if it doesn't, then we're all gonna die. Not literally die, but as a culture and as a people, we're all gonna go extinct, and we're gonna lose everything. And this is exactly what those certain people I talked about earlier want. This is what they want. And I'm not falling for that. I'm not falling for this bullshit. Well, what we could do Here's what we need to do. We need to cut the bullshit. We need to get them all out of here. And we need to make Canada great again. And I say that with the love and care for the Canadian people as a whole, as a culture, and as a people, and as a race and nation. This is for them. This isn't against like a certain group of people. This isn't against an ethnicity or a culture or a race. This is just for the safety and security of another culture. And we need to get rid of these people. They need to be deported. Like, there's no nice way to say this. I don't mean this with any hatred behind it. It's just the truth. They need to get out of here. No hatred behind it. That's just how it is. We need to separate ourselves for the sake of ourselves and them. And Europe needs to do that too. I mean, they are. I mean, Britain has done a great job with these protests. And there's like some people will think that it's racist, that it's hateful, that they're Nazis. It's not. It really isn't. It's like they're just addressing the problem, and they're doing something about the problem. Is that there's so many illegal immigrants. They're destroying the culture. They're destroying the nation, the religion. Everything they believe in is just being destroyed and being taken over violently. These immigrants, they're raping people. They're killing people. They're stabbing people. And this isn't because of their race. This is just another culture taking over another nation. Like another nation taking over a nation. Like disguised as diversity. People need to speak up, all right? You can't just be afraid of losing your job or losing your reputation, because if you're scared of that, then you're part of the problem. If you're scared of that and then you just let this fucking country die out, then that's on you. If you don't want to speak up, then just let everybody die out. We all got to start doing something. We all got to start speaking up on this shit. We need to get into the politics, fix shit up, fix this shit out, get rid of anyone who doesn't want to be here. All right, if you don't want to be a Canadian, don't be here. All right, it's that simple. If you don't want to be a Canadian citizen, if you don't want to love the country, if you don't want to love Canada, if you don't want to care about the Canadian people, get out of here. It should be that simple, but I feel like saying this, people are gonna think this is hatred. People are gonna think that this is racist somehow. It's just not. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. Anyways, yeah, everyone needs to man up, do the right thing, and we would live in paradise. And everything will be fixed. Yeah, it's just that simple. Anyways, that's about it. I think that's about it for now. I think anything else I want to talk about, I'll save that for another time. Yeah, that's about it. I love everybody. I just want to make that clear. I love all of you. I love everybody. Okay? No matter your race, your culture, your sexual orientation, I love all of you, okay? I'm not a hateful person. No matter how much people will try to say that what I think, like my opinion is a hateful opinion. This isn't hate. Like, I love all people, but I think because I love all people should stay strong. All people should be with themselves. Like, just because I want all the cultures to stay as they are doesn't mean I hate the cultures. Like, okay, like Iran should be Iranian. Okay, Iran should be an Iranian country. England should be English British country. It should be a British country, a Christian white British country, because that's what makes them special. That's where their ancestors lived. That's where they should live. Right? That's just how it should be. Same thing with Canada. It's like, okay, yeah, they haven't always been there, but they've been there for a while. The culture has been established. The people have been established. All right? The culture's been strong. It's not anymore. This isn't about hate. This is about the love of the Canadian people. Anyways, yeah, that's about it.